Talking Shit Tuesday, coming at you every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a little chilly in Florida today. Woke up to 47 degrees and it was beautiful. And a lot of people were out doing draggy hits. So it's kind of nice to see the people that are running numbers down here when it cools down are as quick, if not quicker, than most people in the country. Hell, even Donnie went out there and ran 12s in his Super Crew truck, fully loaded with a system. On E85. And I'm just like, well, really nice to see. So what I wanted to talk about today specifically is the ever evolving transportation trades. So a lot of my feed, my For You pages on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, it's full of people, I don't want to say complaining, but they're talking about the fact that there's a technician shortage. So a while ago when I was on an EV kick, a lot of you thought I was gay. And I thought, okay, cool. But then I did mention the clip clop the horse example. And today we're going to talk about that specifically. I think the shortage of technicians is not necessarily lack of pay. I just think the market is transitioning faster than before. And we'll talk about what trades are going to go away, what kind of people need retraining. Are they willing to be retrained to enter a transportation trade that is ever evolving in terms of what it needs for maintenance? Because a lot of the jobs that used to be wrench heavy are basically going to go away. We'll also talk about the right to repair stuff. A lot of people are mentioning the fact that manufacturers are locking you out of allowing you to work on your vehicle. But I have a bit of a, let's just say, different take on it, because while I think, yes, you should be allowed to work on your vehicle, I'm going to try to give you an example of how to look at it from the manufacturer's point of view and to see if you agree. We'll talk about that and many more things, but not before Mr. Bill O'Reilly tells us to do it live.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live. Fucking thing sucks.
It does suck. You know what does not suck? The sponsors of the show. That's right. The ever-evolving sponsor list might get a new sponsor coming up. We'll talk about that later on when it's appropriate. But for now, Nick James, PMAS. Nick James, check out his PMAS Math, the new stuff that he's got going on for Fox Bodies, the Billa version he introduced over at SEMA. Nice to see that the Fox Body game is up and running. People are now building $500,000 Fox Bodies. They must have hit the crack pipe before they put down that price. Cookies, DomaGotCookies.com. Hot chicks that make cookies, and an even hotter guy that makes sure that the system keeps working properly. DomaGotCookies.com for edible dough. I mean, isn't dough edible? Cookie dough and cookies. InHomePerformance.com. You're going to get yourself all your parts there. You're going to get your wheels, tires. You're going to get your fuel systems, your superchargers, your injectors, throttle bodies, any car part you want to get. You got to go to DinaHopPerformance.com. Mention the show. They'll give you a bit of a discount on your way to checkout. PartsFarm.com. They got a Gen 2 Mustang coming in for some goodies. They got another car that has good blower. They got a blower that needs an intercooler. They got a couple of engines. They got a couple of cranker pallets, Voodoo engines, Gen 2, Gen 1, Gen 3 motors all over the place. Check out the PartsFarm.com for your Go Fast goodies at a discounted price. Tool Auto Solution. Rami Zaidan ended up fixing a truck in New Hampshire, but it's tuned by the ops. So I was like, yeah, what's going on over there? But hey, he was just doing the mechanical work. Can't blame the brother for getting that work. Tool Auto Solution. And Bellac Industries, he lets you know that if you want to let people, look, if you got Fellax on your shit, you definitely don't sell drugs. And the last thing you want to let people know in the hood, that you're not putting in that work. Do you know what I'm saying? Because if you're just fellacking it up on your BMW rears only, shame on you. richprint.com/YDBT. If you want to support the show and you want a hat or something, this is the best way to help and get some merchandise. YDBT hats, Emery hats, YDBT Emery mesh hats, trucker style Dolo, YDBT and Emery flat brim shiesties. It's cold. Get a shiesty. Section 8 shirts and hoodies, Hush Money shirts and hoodies, ZR50 shirts and hoodies, Booty Juice shirts and hoodies for those of you that run E30 like a bunch of homosexuals. Elote Juice for the real ones that get E85, Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, GT350, 85 to 86, 87 to 93 shirts, 1320 Didios, F1320, YDBT and Emery, vertical, YDBT horizontal, Emery horizontal, and some stickers. That's right. Stickers. Check them out. Booty Juice, 050, YDBT Emery, and Dolo stickers. Also Dolo shirts and hoodies. Gotta love that stuff. Let's say hi to the people here, and then we'll talk some shit for an hour and a half, which is my favorite part of the week. talking shit. Nick Notch, Money by 40, Slow 99, EPA Emery, Dual Overhead Camp, Ant Frank, Mustang Dennis, Lemonade, Wesley Stewart, John Bonanno, Jasso, J Judd, Z33 Camzilla, Bryson Witt, Ray, Bryson Witt again. My goodness. Tony the Truck Guy, Garza? I thought it was like OG Arzar or whatever. Christopher Donnie Renfro went 12s and a super crew. Not bad. It's 4-wheel drive. Good for him. On the street, Christopher Dixon, Paul, D-Rock Fox, Kenneth Lupus, Minibat Madman, JD Swag, Mark Christensen. I'm going to have Donnie start a YouTube channel. So make sure to go to just type in Donnie Renfro and subscribe to his shit so he can actually rent on my vehicles. You'll see a lot of my vehicles on his channel because I'm just going to say, here, rent on my shit. You're good. Get some video. 32 videos, 2000 MCR, OG, Garza again, Cornfred Cow, Andy Ali, Rodney, Anthony Rafferty, Matt Oliver, semi-retired Street Racer, Clint Stroke, Blue, FG, Nardi Mercado, Nick Perry, Anthony Sixsuki, Brandon Horton, Sixsuki again, Anthony, J-Talk Kid, wow. Cobra, Blue Thunder, Bryson Witt again. Bryson Witt, by the way, we are putting up the vote on Patreon. If you're a Patreon subscriber, I started the voting process for the blower giveaway, the Magnuson blower giveaway. So if you're a Patreon subscriber, paid, go there, vote for your one of 5 people to see who wins the Magnuson Supercharger. Peter Chow, Calypso, No Lift Shift, Connor, The Fish, Jay Swish, Cornfred Cow, Richard Tijerina, and all the usual suspects. Someone gave me a super chat already. Late night working at the shop, listening to the live, says Kenneth Gwynn. Gotta love it, gotta love it, gotta love it. So we're going to talk about Clip Clop the horse. So let's say you were a farrier. Okay, I'm just going to mention some jobs you probably didn't even know existed in the late 19th century, early 19th century that were literally taken away by the invention of the automobile, the horseless carriage. Okay, imagine you were one of these jobs and you slowly in 20 years saw your job go away. Horse-drawn transport, meaning stagecoach driver, hansom cab driver, omnibus driver, drayman, a stable hand, a farrier, a hostler, a feed and hay delivery person, livery stable owner operator, horse trough maintainer, street sweeper, whip maker, harness maker, carriage painter and trimmer, a wheelwright. That's right, wooden wheels. Toll booth keeper for turnpikes, believe it or not, that a manual. In other words, there were actually people that these jobs ended up, changing from the clip clop the horse to car stuff. Road drag operator, a horse pulled grading machine was a thing. An ambulance driver, horse, fire engine, horse drawn fire engines, ice wagon driver, milk wagon delivery man, and a teamster, mule wagon freight hauler. So all those jobs went away the moment the vehicle was in the automobile was invented. So then you saw I saw personally the transition from carbureted to EFI. Carbureted to EFI was a massive transition. And you could see people sitting in mom and pop shops, sitting there, not needing a diagnosis. Look, it is 2025. To this day, to this day, to this day, we get people in the ticket system saying things like, I'm not that good with computers. Can you tell me what to do? It is 2025. You ordered a tune and you don't know how to fuck with computers? What the fuck are we doing? Then we become an IT position. So let's say you were a carbureted guy. My father was one of these guys. You would bring in a Cadillac, a Regal, a Fiero, anything. And it was running badly. My father's like, it just need a tune-up. So you get cap, rotor, plugs, and wires, and then you tune up the carburetor, and then boom, it goes. Tune-ups. Tune-ups were a huge thing back in the 80s and 90s. Tune-ups were very common. Now you're not really changing plugs until 50,000 miles. You're not adjusting anything manually. Everything is plug it in, what codes are being spit out, diagnostic tools, diagnostic tools, diagnostic tools. So those guys that were very good at diagnosing carbureted vehicles. Okay, remember, carbureted vehicles were around since the 20s. And then in the mid-90s, 70 years, all of a sudden a big change happened. So let's say you were a 40-year-old tech in 1995, and these EFI, or 1990, these EFI things started trickling their way to your mom and pop shop because they didn't want to take it to the dealership, or they bought it used, or it's out of warranty. So they bring it to your mom and pop shop, and you don't even have an OBD1 scanner. You don't even have an OBD2. You don't have anything scanner. You don't even know what a scanner is. The car's running badly. So what did these people start doing? They start doing what they did to carburetor stuff. They start spraying the thing down with carburetor cleaner to see if there's a vacuum leak. They start doing cap and rotor changes. They start doing crazy things that are not working, and the check engine light is on, and they do not know how to check for codes. I saw that happen, and I went, oh, these guys are dinosaurs. There it is. The beginning of the end for this type of mechanic. And sure enough, within 10 to 15 years, people like that were less and less needed. Now, to this day, do you need somebody like that? Absolutely. But not as much as it was before. So it was very common to have muffler shops at every corner. Mechanic shops and the muffler shop were synonymous. As a matter of fact, you can get gasoline, oil changes, mufflers done up, and tune-ups done in the gas station. That's how old I am. I am that old. When I used to be able to pull up to a gas station, they fill up your shit, they check your oil, and that is your neighborhood mechanic. That's gone. That shit is gone. Mom and pop shops have to have the latest, greatest tech right now just to deal with cars from the 2010s, 2020s. Now, with the advent of EVs, you're going to start seeing a complete new market emerge and a complete market disappear. Why? Because you don't need the heavy maintenance stuff that used to be required with the newer vehicles, and not just EVs, hybrids. You got to understand, brake jobs, tune-ups, oil changes were a massive chunk of the pie back in the day. And now, all three of those are less likely to be done. Why? Brake technology is better. Regenerative braking. Teslas and other EVs, when you let off of the accelerator pedal, it lugs down and it uses the regen braking to charge the battery again, to get more power back into the battery. So now you can literally drive with one foot. You can accelerate and decelerate with the same foot. Rarely do you have to actually use the brake. So there goes brake jobs, bye-bye. There goes tune-ups, bye-bye. Are you going to buy the diagnostic equipment? And what kind of equipment do you need in order to diagnose modern vehicles? And then what emerging job will the tech transition to? And are a 40 to 50-year-old current tech willing to change their day-to-day activities and retrain to become more versed in the modern vehicle game? Probably not. Right? Probably not. Now, a lot of people say, well, Alex, I think it's a combination of things. I think it's a combination of the fact that vocational schools aren't a thing. How many of you grew up having a vocational school in your town where they taught welding, machining, electrical, woodworking, or shop? I grew up at a place in Holyoke, Massachusetts, where there were nothing but factories all over the place. So it was within the school's best interest to offer a vocational program, and then they had placement programs. So I'll give you an example. Dean Technical High School is on Main Street or Route 5 in Holyoke. I think they closed because of this reason. It was a tech-heavy school. So when you were in middle school, you had the opportunity to go to Holyoke High School or Dean Tech. The people that went to Dean Tech put out machinists, technicians, car technicians, and usually they would end up at Ford or Jerry Rome Nissan right down the street. They had placement programs. Hey, we got this guy. He's very talented. He placed high. We think he'd be a good tech. And then Jerry Rome Nissan would take him in on a probationary basis and then eventually put him on full-time. And there you go. Vocational programs. Now, show me how many high schools in 2025 in your town have some kind of vocational program where they're teaching woodworking. Don't need that, right? Shop, machining, nothing. Like they don't have CNC. They don't have CNC training programs. Before you'd have to literally, Bridgeport in and out, lathe in and out. They're not teaching that shit anymore. So these kids at 17, 18, 19 get out of high school not knowing any manual labor skills or at least blue collar skills. So these guys are not going to end up at a dealership. And if they do end up at a dealership, they do not do what they used to do in the 90s. So when you go, you plug in right now, you're a parts changer. You're a complete parts changer. Let's be honest. A lot of you are not diagnosing anything through experience. You are plugging in a very expensive computer that usually the dealership provides. It tells you what's wrong. and then you replace a whole part, not rebuild a whole part. And if you do rebuild a whole part, you are a specialist off to the side and the dealer makes a killing on you. But now you're starting to see a different thing. If you think you can rebuild transmissions on the side, people like Ford and others are saying, why am I going to provide parts to my competitor? Why would I provide parts at a good cost to someone rebuilding these when we could rebuild these in-house? So you're going to start seeing Ford say, well, we'll sell you the part, but it's not going to be cheap. We're going to have to jack up the price a little bit, or any manufacturer, because what you're doing is you invented something. And this is the part where I'm going to not necessarily defend the automobile manufacturers, but I'm going to give you a different perspective. And whether you can agree with me or not, I don't care. It's about having a conversation and having perspective. Let's say you're Ford and you put in these billions of dollars to make a vehicle, vet the vehicle, make the part, make sure the part works, warranty the part. That is a massive chunk. And I don't think the manufacturers make money on the sale. I think the manufacturers make a bulk of their money on the rebuilds, on the maintenance, on the fleet maintenance, on the fixing these vehicles. And nothing kills that quicker than a warranty repair. But I guarantee when you go to a dealership, they're going to try to upsell you on something. It almost feels like they're pressured to upsell you on a ball joint job, a brake job, what have you. And then when you hear the price, it's astronomical. So then you're like, well, I'm going to take it to a mom and pop shop somewhere else. Then you go to the mom and pop shop to see if you can get a better, hey, Ford told me I got to do the brakes on this thing. They're going to say, well, the price is going to be similar because the parts are more expensive. So Ford and all these other manufacturers are getting smart, and they're like, we're not going to invent a vehicle and sell these parts cheap so that this work can go elsewhere. They're going to try to do the best job possible of keeping the job within the dealership. And the Right to Repair Act is starting to kind of like morph, because you're starting to see a powerful lobby from these guys trying to kill that act. Meaning, if you have a John Deere tractor or combine or what have you at a farm, and it has a check engine light and it renders itself useless or goes into limp mode, you can't even access the software in it because John Deere doesn't allow it. And I think eventually Ford is going to start doing something similar to their cars. You need a specific type of equipment. And apparently a lot of you guys told me that a new vehicle does not take an IDS tool anymore. It's something else. FERS, KERS, DERS, BERS, whatever it's called, FDR, whatever, FDRS, or whatever the hell it's called. Imagine you are a mom and pop shop, and now you have to buy not only that software, but it is subscription based. So they charge you every year for that subscription so that you can have access to the schematics, diagnostics, and the diagrams. And if you don't have access to that, vaya con Dios. How are you going to fix that new Ford? How are you going to, right now, when I was driving UPR's truck around, it had a misfire, right? I tried to have Jake read it. He goes, oh, I need the new shit. Remember, Jake is not a shop that actually works on vehicles, but the fact that he deals with Ford heavy and he didn't have the equipment to read what's going on with that truck needing the newer stuff tells you a lot about where the market is now and how it is completely evolving to what it used to be. So what you're going to see is a lot of these older technicians, they're going to have to go through some retraining. And these techs are either going to retrain or start their own mom and pop shop, and hopefully you can make it that way, just like their carbureted guys. You're going to have to become an EV high voltage technician. Does that sound blue collar? An ADS software diagnostician. Does that sound blue collar? A fleet telematics specialist. Does that sound blue collar? Which is predictive maintenance via cloud data. Okay. The high voltage technician would deal with battery packs, diagnostics, 800 volt systems, and thermal management. Fleet telematics specialist would be predictive maintenance and cloud data and autonomous vehicle technician, LiDAR, radar alignment, and neural network debugging. So imagine these jobs are what now technicians, imagine clip clop the horse, right? You were clip clopping, you were slamming, you were cutting, you were putting shoes on a horse. And now you're like, you might want to get well versed on working on small equipment, small engines. And you're like, why? Well, that's the trend. The town did not order any more horses. The town stopped ordering horses. Just think of the breeding program that you needed for horses. The amount of horses you needed, because some of them would just literally die in the street. So you just need another horse ready to go. It's not like you can like, well, we got to wait 6 years till this horse is 100% mature. No, motherfucker, you better have a stock of these motherfuckers somewhere at a farm ready to fly. Now that's over. People are, the ambulance is now a automobile. The fire department now has a truck. The police station now have vehicles, and they have to be maintained. So are you going to stay clip-clopping and horseshoeing, or are you going to merge yourself into a completely new market? And then that begs the question, technically, is that white collar or is that blue collar? And what kind of programs are schools in high school years? Because let's be honest, not everyone's going to go to college. Right now, everyone is taught you go to college, get a 4-year degree in liberal arts, you're going to come out and make what? Coffee. Starbucks coffee is what you're going to be making when you get that liberal arts degree and you have $150,000, heaven forbid more, in debt because all you did in college was fuck off, bang chicks, and hang out and work out with your boys. Then you come out to the real world and oh shit, you got bills to pay. So I think it needs to. I think what's happening with the technicians is a combination of many things. A lack of vocational schools out there teaching blue collar labor, a lack of blue collar labor jobs. The advent of AI is going to make a lot of these jobs white collar jobs. So if you are a 40-year-old master technician at Ford, Nissan, Stellantis, heaven forbid, and you want to stay on the up and up, you might want to start taking some training for EV stuff, for battery pack maintenance, for LiDAR stuff, for cloud-based storage bullshit. And it'll be, you've gone from a blue collar tech to now a white collar IT guy, but it has to do with the transportation industry. Now, I'm not saying that all of it is going to go away. There are still farriers. There are still people that make things for horse-drawn carriages. But again, the volume, the vast majority of that is minimal. Same thing with carbureted guys. How many guys in your town do you know that can tune a carburetor properly? If you drop a 78 Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham to a shop, can they actually make it run and purr like a kitten? Probably not, because the moment you see the technicians, let's say you go to your local mom and pop shop and you have a 78 Fleetwood Brougham with the 7-liter and it's running a little rough, and you go inside and you go, I'd like to get my car looked at, and the guys are fresh-faced 25-year-old and younger guys, you know the car's not going to get worked on properly, right? You could just look at the employees there and go, this shit ain't going to get done right. These guys don't know anything. You need that crusty-ass motherfucker that has a screwdriver as a listening device, smells it, sniffs it, goes by feel, touches the valve cover and goes, there's a rocker loose on this side. Those guys are needed, but not as much as a guy that plugs in. P0315 needs a crank relearn. P0300 means you have a general misfire, so we're going to have to start going through the diagnostics tree. P0442, you have an evap code. Did you recently fill up, sir? Yes. Did the thing click weird? Yes. Then your filler neck is not sealed properly. So the modern, and the reason I say that is because I've become that guy. I know just by the code what is going on with your car. I don't even need to look it up because people don't Google anymore. Alex, I got a P0442. Evap. Did you delete the evap? No. Did you recently make any changes to the car? I put a new manifold in it. You forgot to put in the purge valve. You forgot to plug it in. You routed a vacuum loud. Something is wrong. So now I have become the technician. I have become the diagnoser, and I tell them where to look. I have inadvertently become what the future would be for these guys when they can literally look it up themselves. But when it comes to EV stuff, I'm sure there are guys right now that are experiencing very common issues in the EV world, and those guys have a leg up because you're not stopping that. You're not stopping the advent of EV. It is a power-dense thing. As long as you have thermonuclear reaction in the sky for 8 hours a day and some kind of solar capturing and storage device, it's going to be really nice and maybe enticing to some to live off-grid or whatever, or just if electricity becomes cheaper eventually with more nuclear plants opening up. EV, and believe it or not, if I had the ability to buy an EV, a need, a necessity, right now I think I do have a necessity for an EV because all I do with the Cadillac is tool around town. And I tow with it maybe 2-3 times a year tops. All the other times I just go to the gym and back in Publix. So I think it's one of those things that people are complaining that they're not getting paid enough. They're not, paying warranty repair enough. I honestly think it's just the lack of necessity of that specific type of technician. I know Jim Farley said we have 6,000 bays and they're not filled up because there's not enough technicians out there. Well, let's be honest. They're not pumping them out of vocational schools. They're not, and there isn't a demand for it because all you're doing, Jim Farley, is you need people to do warranty work. Brakes can be done at a mom and pop shop. Oil changes can be done at a mom and pop shop. Unless you lock them out of that software or anything like that, I can't imagine it can't be done. The only reason people like Ford and others need technicians is for warranty work. And the technicians are saying, I'm out. I don't want to get paid warranty work because $18 an hour, I can make that at McDonald's. I can make that at anywhere if that's what they're paying guys in terms of doing warranty repair work. So I think it's just an evolving transportation market that eventually is going to rear its ugly head. And a lot of people are going to go, oh, that's why there's a technician shortage, because the only reason you need technicians nowadays is to do warranty work. Transmission stuff can be done by somebody else. And then what the manufacturers are doing is they're stifling that growth because they're now raising prices or not providing the parts to their competition, which you can kind of look at it and understand it. Let's say you invented something, guys. Put yourself in the manufacturer's shoes. Let's say you're a maker, someone that actually makes a product. And then that product is popular. So you know how to fix that product because you made that product. Don't you want the people coming back to you to fix the product? Probably, because not only is it lucrative, you're the best person to fix that product because you made that product. But now let's say a small market of aftermarket people fuck with your product heavy, but they need to buy parts that you made for that product to fix that product at a discounted price elsewhere. Wouldn't you feel some type of way about that if somebody else is buying parts from you at a discounted dealer price and then fixing your part elsewhere when you could be making that dough? I'm not saying they're right to do so, the manufacturers. I'm just saying you got to look at it from everybody's point of view. Well, there you go. Thank you for letting me babble on for almost 30 minutes. But I think it's one of those subject matters that it's near and dear to my heart because I grew up blue collar. And obviously, I saw what was happening. I saw that the future of millwrighting was not for me. The future of millwrighting is not like it used to be, and there is no money in there. They subcontract all of the work out. I worked for a subcontractor. So a lot of these power plants, all they need is a human gauge. These power plants, when you go to a power plant, FP&L or whatever, your local power plant, go in there and ask for a tour. There's probably 4 people a shift, and they're at a console, and the console has min-maxes, warning lights, fail-safes, software, and algorithms running the joint. And all you're there to do is to call a maintenance person. And what they do is they subcontract that work out to the lowest bidder. So I thought to myself, there's no money in being a millwright because unless you work for a trade, for a union that strong arms the builders, the governments, the makers, the developers to give you a heavy contract, you're not going to make that kind of money. Electricians are always going to be needed. IT people are always going to be needed because data centers are always going to be popping up because of the advent of AI. Data centers, I guess maintenance people for cooling systems, right? So you're going to need cooling. So you need HVAC, electrical. You're going to need pump people. And I saw that millwrighting was not a future. So I said, let me get out of this industry while I still have all my fingers, and we'll see if I can do something else. Now I am tuning, and I am starting to see that eventually Ford is going to lock it down. Look, this is the beginning. 2 years. It took 2 years for people to figure out to unlock the next Ford. So now what if Ford in 2027 says, you saw me do that? I'm going to fucking do it again. And they lock it up again. And then you're like, oh, this is hardcore shit. It's not only 2 years, it's 4 years. It's 5 years. Why do you think I started doing this? Fail safe, fail safe, fail safe. So I think evolving with the market is better than complaining about the market and bringing it back. Because if you were a farrier, if you were a wheelwright, if you're a maintainer for a horse or a road grader with horse-drawn carriages, if you were like, man, they should bring that back. That was better when we used to grade the roads and the horse would shit on the road. It would actually be a better sealer. If you thought that guy was going to win the argument when automobiles were going to take over and make everything efficient. Obviously, you saw how that went. Obviously, you saw how carbureted stuff went. And I think EVs are just going to make the current tech switch from a blue-collar job to a white-collar job. There you go. That's what I got to say about that. We can talk about that, talk some shit, do all that stuff. We can talk about World Cup stuff too. Stick shift. I'm going to make a whole video about how stick shift is not stick shift racing. And I'm going to tell you, the strain gauge is the dumbest fucking thing. And it's making stick shift unwatchable. And we'll talk about that. I'll make a video because I think a standalone video will get more attention than a segment on a live stream. EV lease deals are hard to pass up, says Jay Walker. A lot of guys reportedly getting $65,000 BMW i4s for $400 a month. Nothing down? If the Model Y dual motor becomes something you cannot pass up, $400 a month, Donnie gets sold. Give me that Model Y. Fuck all that. Not even worth destroying your body for 18 an hour. Shit, I make 16 at a Nissan dealerships and I do alignments and suspension work, everything but heavy diagnostics, engine work. Right, because what happens when you get trained low daily on that diagnostic equipment? You get a little certification, you get a little, a little degree you hang up in your wall. Oh, I'm diagnostic certified. What? Now you hold the keys to the castle, and based on just repetition, you're going to see codes, and eventually you're going to see trends. See, I see these trends all the time. So the moment somebody says, hey, Alex, I'm going to install a T56 in the car, you're going to get a PO315 code. How do you know? Because you're going to jostle around the clutch and the crank sensor. Oh, yeah, just do a crank relearn. Oh, you got HP tuners? Find a friend with an SETX4 or see if the scanner software is able to allow you to do a crank relearn. That is a trend that you can actually call out before it happens based on experience. Union Millwright here. We can't get good people. Nobody wants to get their hands dirty. So what Union Millwright, what kind of, how much are y'all paying? Now, that's not to say that that's the attractive trait, because a lot of these kids are promised six-figure salaries, and that's what they chase. Like, there was a kid I was talking to at the gym. He's like, oh, what do you do for a living? Hey, man, what do you do for a living? And I'm like, I'm a calibration specialist. Oh, what? Oh, it's fucking awesome. Oh, how can I do that? And I'm like, well, I don't like, I kind of like learned on the job. It's not something that you don't go to school. Oh, I heard that you can have AI tune your car. So your car. Okay, cool. But before that, I was a millwright. So I made, I literally wrenched, and a 2-inch wrench is a thing. Hammer wrenches are a thing. What's a hammer wrench, Alex? Exactly what it sounds like. A wrench you hit with a hammer. Ask Mercury Motorsports what a hammer wrench is. Starts at 2 inches. Okay? So when I told them, well, I busted my ass, I worked blue collar, I grew up in a town called Holyoke, Massachusetts, where right out of high school, I knew I can go to a paper mill and make $12 to $50 an hour in 1995. So when I left high school, I walked my ass down Jackson Street and I walked into a factory and I filled out an application. I got called 1 week later. I started working. Didn't like the job, but I stayed there making $12 to $13 an hour. And then I found a job at a candle company half mile down the road across town in Chicopee, Massachusetts, when you cross the Willimantic Bridge. And I worked there for 5 years. After that, I got a millwright job. Right? So no college education. Rent was $400. I had a Mustang, I had a girlfriend, and I was making $2,100 to $2,500 a month, living the good life in 1995. No degree, no nothing, living good. That millwright job taught me a lot. I made okay money, but not enough to be like, I am killing it. And then I learned software stuff. I learned computer stuff. I got into the 2011 Mustang. I started tuning it. And I'm like, this interests me. I did not stay in a time capsule and only knew what I knew at the moment and didn't want to learn other shit. No, I was always up on game. I remember one time a buddy of mine came over to the house and we were talking to bitches on AOL. That's right, America Online, ASL, 25M, Massachusetts, ASL, question mark, 23F, California, Sacramento area, woo, Simi Valley, sheesh. And he's like, how do you type so fast? Oh, I took typing in college. I'm sorry, I took typing in high school. It was like a semi-vocational thing. So I was able to type 60 words a minute. And he's like, oh, that's gay. Now that motherfucker is delivering furniture for Rent-A-Center in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Okay, so if you stay stagnant and know what you know, you're going to end up delivering furniture for Rent-A-Center in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Force Gang can do a crank relearn. Gotcha. I make $17.50 just to sit around at my security job most of the time and make more money than techs. FWD needs to go from World Cup. Front wheel drive needs to go from World Cup. All the old down the staging lanes are jokes. Can you please sell your T56 and swap 8 HP and be a pioneer? The 8 HP swap and Coyote watch. I can, but who's going to buy the transmission? If someone buys the transmission tomorrow, I'll sell it. 10 grand. Transmission, clutch, 10 grand. No one's going to buy it because I would 8 HP swap it tomorrow. If you're not adapting and moving forward the times, then you'll see the end eventually. Local to me, it's a $500 million AI plant starting up. Great news for me as an electrician. So you want to have a security job? AI is going to be everything. There's going to be the best virtual sex you'll ever have. Okay. You're going to have a strap-on device that suction cups onto your penis and it oscillates back and forth, interfacing with the program that your VR glasses are looking at. And you're going to go, I'm going to go on a hot date tonight. And you're going to meet your virtual girlfriend and she's going to give you, and it's going to have, a lube port. It's going to have a squirt port. Do you squirt option? Yes. $50. Yes. You want squirt option? Yeah, I want squirt option. I definitely want a squirt option. And you're going to be like, oh, sitting there standing, and they go, whew, it's great, right? Awesome. Now you don't need to date. So women are fucked. Men don't need to leave the house for pussy anymore because they have the best pussy at home via virtual glasses. Sorry, John, if you're watching this, don't watch this show. This is the wrong show to watch today. If you got kids, get them out of the house. Get them out of this. So those people, electricians, people having to do with cooling because it all needs cooling, HVAC techs, electricians, and IT guys maintaining servers. That is the new blue collar job because that's going to be the most of what's happening in the future. That's right. Demolition Man virtual sex. You mean kiss? Like each other? I like to do it the old fashioned way. Hey, what are the 3 seashells for? I don't get it. What the fuck? So the 3 seashells was a bidet. Just so you know, the 3 seashells was bidet, air dry, and maybe a simulated tongue. Who knows? Don't forget, you were in plumbing business also. Any suggestions? Candle wax on the nipple? Hey, yo, I miss the AOL Wars days. Typing class was smart. So many chicks in one class. Dude, I took home economics. What do you think home economics was? Senior year? You want to know my schedule senior year? English, first period. Gym, home economics, study hall, typing, go home. Because I had enough credits junior year to graduate. Smart like that. And guess what? Typing, badass. Home economics, I learned to make molasses cookies, bro. And I made the best omelets on the planet. They taught me how to make an omelet. To this day, I make an omelet the way home economics taught me how to make an omelet. That's right. Home economics. They were teaching bitches how to be housewives. There was an actual course in Holyoke High School teaching women how to be housewives. No crocheting. Yeah, virtual sex, Big Brother, and no more crime. And no more crime because we'll stop it before it happens, even if it was going to. Nothing wrong with any of that. Oh, I'm so sorry. You know what I would hate? I'd hate Big Brother knowing where I was. I would hate to know. I hate to know. I would hate it so that Big Brother knew where I was and what I was watching all the time. And you got one of these in your fucking pocket that has GPS, asshole. Shut up. Shut up. Don't commit crime. Don't do stupid shit. Things are fine. Big Brother, while you have an iPhone. Shut up about Big Brother while you have a fucking iPhone in your pocket. Shut up about corporations while you have an iPhone in your pocket. Jesus. Based AF. They need to make home economics mandatory for these women again. Tons of women don't know how to do women's stuff. Dude, they drop them down to slit. Dude, I dated a girl that somehow dropped a 1/4 inch thick egg down a 1/4 inch hole perfectly like a machinist. I was like, how'd you do that? How'd you get the egg to go perfectly in the slot between the stove and the countertop? You realize your viewers are just a bunch of Stallones from that movie? Exactly. I'm a firm believer that we outlaw women from the workplace and we'll go back tomorrow. Look, repeal the 19th. Women should not vote. Women should not work. Sorry. I'm there. I'm there. Because what good has come of it? Tell me that. Mamdani. Freight and fuel, don't sleep. I'm a truck driver and deliver groceries. As far as I can tell, the money is fuel, refrigerator, hazardous, and heavy haul. Yes, but once the major, think about it, a Daytona, self-drive has been proven to be safer than a human. Proven, so proven that the NHTSA allows self-driving Teslas. Okay? They just spit out some data and they're like, it's just proven. Imagine you have a predetermined route and you have a self-driving Tesla truck. Eventually, sooner than later, that industry is going to evolve. Again, guys, do yourselves a huge favor. Go ahead and get you some popcorn and sit down and watch iRobot. That is the future. Sub-Zero Take, you can get a Model S Plaid for 40s now. I took typing lessons to win a ZR50 hoodie. Seriously. They taught Alex not to drop the omelet in between the stove and the countertop. Fed watching you do everything. I caused the crash out. That girl would be better than a CNC head games with that type of precision. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, whoa, you're such a bad housewife that you somehow managed to drop an egg somewhere where it's almost statistically impossible to do. Unreal. Nothing has come good from it. Supply of workers and salaries reduced because women will work for less. And then they want equality. No. They want equity. And they don't know the difference between equality and equity. No gatekeeping, voted behind. Civic says, damn Theo, with the Mondami, you might consider West Palm Beach. Look, I'm telling you guys, women voted for a democratic socialist, a.k.a. communist, for mayor of New York City. Women came out and voted for that. So why should women have any rights in terms of voting? They don't have any skin in the game, right? World War III happened tomorrow. My old ass is going to war. Conscription all day, every day. Do you think they're going to take a hot ass bit? No, all of a sudden they'll become housewives. Whoa. What do you mean? Well, here's a bazooka. Go in there and kill, Ming and Ping. Well, they both look the same. Kill them both. Which one did it kill? I don't know. Ming or Ping. Check his dog tags. Who knows? But where was I going with that? So stupid. I left working on cars to work for my local energy company and make double the money. People are always going to need gas and electricity. I'm telling you guys, if you're a technician and you're complaining about, I need more warranty hours. Nope. You need to change industries and let the manufacturers eat crow. Sorry. If they're like, well, we have a shortage of technicians. Well, all you need is warranty repair people anyway. You're not going to pay me big money to rebuild a 10 or 80 because you'd probably just tell me it can be done in 4 hours when it takes me a full day. Look, I don't know how it works in that game, but at the end of the day, I don't think the manufacturers, Ford and others, are going to make you rich becoming a tech. You want to be rich, meaning 100,000 plus in this market, 150? Being a tech is not it, and you know that. So you're going to have to get into the trades that are going to be emerging, and that is IT heavy, electrical heavy, HVAC heavy, because AI and AI plants and learning, machine learning, and all these things are going to be popping up all over the place. So you're going to have to maintain that equipment. We're going to be maintainers. We're not going to be doers. The doers are going to be robots. 8 HP Mopar modular adapter kit 900 control pack 8 HP. No, it's not. It's $10,000. I'm not buying a fucking $40,000 8 HP. You got to buy the software. You got to buy the converter. You got to buy the center console, the shifter, the cross member, the bell housing, all that stuff. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Or the bell housing adapter, it is at least $10,000. Tony says, that's true. I'm driving 75 and watching this. 284 S58, Alex. What do you mean to say? Let me guess. It's fully built. What are my thoughts about it? It's fully built. Congrats. Good luck getting AI to align a centrifugal pump. Okay. Well, Mercury Motorsports. Very interesting you say that. You know what laser alignment equipment is. You and I both know that the laser alignment equipment, the new stuff, aligns itself. Meaning, you bolt it up. As long as you have your zeros are fine and your mirrors and your lasers are set up properly, it will tell you what to do. So the algorithm and AI in the machine is going to tell you what to do. Whereas you and I would take a straight edge at 12, 3, and 9, right? At 12, 3, and 9, we take a straight edge, we shim, adjust, and what do? We spin the pump by hand and see if it gets caught up anywhere, right? Oh, put a 2000 shim on the right rear. That is now static balance. Now you want dynamic balancing. So you get the laser, put it up, you go 12, 9, 3, and it says 10 thousandths in the back. The skill is gone because now the machine is telling you, but getting it close is an art, and that can only happen with experience. And if you've never tried to align a motor to a pump and understood what it takes on a Lovejoy coupling, on a Falk coupling or something like that, you would know what you have to do to make this thing glide nicely. Mercury Motorsports probably going, damn, you want a job mill riding? Ride off to the sunset while you still have your dignity. What's happening here, Patrick? Separate Ming and Ping from their family. What's worse than commie part is the fuck. Oh, yes, you're not wrong. Changing industry once my contract is up. And y'all gotta solder shit. 6-figure salary with a pension and no cost benefits, but nobody wants to work 60 hours a week and do night shifts. That's the problem. Hard work is not taught to the newer generation. The newer generation, unfortunately, is indoctrinated to think that if you get a degree in something, you'll be better off, because it is a dirty word. It is a dirty word to be blue collar, where I think it's necessary. Gen Z is not blue collar. Gen Z is unfortunately going to be a pretty lost generation. They're going to be to some hardcore shit. You know what happens when you get a bunch of young men without a future? No pussy, bitches ain't paying attention to them, no job prospects. It's just a recipe for disaster. And they can be radicalized very quickly to think crazy shit because they have no hope. They have no future. And it's not their fault. It's their parents' fault. That's right. Gen Xers and millennials raising these Gen Zs that are now in their 20s, and they see no prospects, no hope, no nothing. And they're not taught, get out there, become an electrician, get out there, work hard, get out there, hustle for your money. No, they're taught, you should become a day trader. You should invest. Invest? What the fuck are you talking about? A kid showed me his trading app. He's like, yeah, I made $100 today. I'm like, $100? What'd you make yesterday? Well, I lost 300. I never lose money in a day. Ever. I make money while I'm sleeping, thank goodness. So you're telling me that this is what these kids are taught? Day trading? Bitches are doing OnlyFans and becoming millionaires. Could you imagine being a chick nowadays and not getting OnlyFans subs? Bro. I wish I had a self-driving Tesla right now. This school road I'm driving through is pretty bumpy. FYI, B58, S58 can be unlocked stateside now. No need to send it to Vladimir. That's right. Nice to hear. Nice to hear. I'm a construction equipment technician working 50 hours a week and making $115,000 a year. Equipment is better route to make money than automotive. But these technicians that are, let's say, 35 to 40, do you think they want to start from the bottom as a equipment tech for a construction company? And it is way harder work, right? Right, Vaughn? Because a lot of these technicians are pussy. They are used to having an air-conditioned bay, nice tools, and they just have all this equipment and drop shit. When you go to the construction site and you got to move some kind of, you got to maintain some kind of equipment like a crane, a hydraulic pump on a crane needs to be replaced. It is dirty, filthy, nasty, and you're outside work. So these technicians that are so tough and they're inside an air-conditioned bay putting a transmission in and out of a car now have to go drive an hour to the job site and replace a hydraulic pump on a crane. Now they're like, well, this sucks. I wish I was working 10 R80s. I wish I was working on 10 R80s. This is stupid, right? Those guys think they're blue collar until blue collar work shows up. I'll tell you, I don't think techs are blue collar. I'm sorry. I don't think technicians are blue collar. I think it's something in between. A millwright, old school, that's blue collar work. And yes, you're right. It's their parents' fault. It's 100% their parents' fault. And these kids are going to be lost. These kids are going to have a When I see a young man, 20 to 25, wrenching on a car, doing good wrenching on a car, giving a fuck, learning, I go, wow, you are so rare. Because the vast majority of those broccoli-haired homos are out there with their Adidas flip-flops with socks on, or with Crocs, or the Yay Crocs, working out at the gym. And I'm just like, God damn, what happened to the generation? I like that one app that follows Nancy Pelosi trades. Learn to Code was a slogan during the pandemic when people were locked in their house. My trading is supplemental income. It took me 16 months to make $2,000 on an investment. How long do you think the trucking industry has before it becomes completely automated? So the only thing that's going to keep, in my opinion, transportation with humans in it is policy. Eventually, you're going to see very powerful unions come into play and say, well, you got to protect these guys because this is their livelihood. And I understand that, and I think protectionism is a good thing up to a point. If protectionism, meaning protecting an industry that technology can easily replace, Ubers need not exist, right? You and I both know Ubers don't need to exist. If you have, let's say, self-drive become a thing, and you own 3 Tesla Model 3 base bitches, each of them cost you $500 a month. That's $1,500 a month for 3 cars. And all of them are out in the town Ubering people back and forth autonomously. You could make big fucking money if it ever becomes a future of autonomous, friendly Uber rides. The only way that does not become an actual future is if laws are put in the books to protect the physical driver that doesn't have a Tesla Model 3 or a autonomous self-drive vehicle to protect their job. I think the trucking industry is going to go along the same path where they're going to be like, well, do you even need a broker if you have a self-driving truck? You don't need a broker. You just say, this freight has to go here. Shut up, truck, and do it. And the truck shows up, parks. You don't think a truck is going to park better than a human? Oh, sorry, an Indian human? No offense, JD. 40-year-old tech here. That's what I'm running into. 120,000 a year, not trying to start over. Smart man. I get it. No college degree, but I'm a lineman and I make great money. And for a 27-year-old, have my own house, 3 paid off cars. Just put the work in and you'll be surprised. No, look, don't think that I'm saying to not put in the work. I'm the opposite. I'm like, there are trades that you can actually bank. But the problem is an automotive tech is not one. You see what's happening with the automotive tech industry. You see what's happening with the transportation industry. Hell, transportation industry, period. That industry is not going to make you rich unless you have been there for 10 years already. You are grandfathered in. You have taken the new certifications for all of the diagnostic software. And then what do you do when you get there? You gatekeep the shit out of that job so you can have job security, right? You're not going to start teaching a young Zach, 21 years old, fresh out of some kind of vocational program, everything you've known for the last 20 years you've been working in this industry. You're going to gatekeep the ever-living shit out of that to keep your job. And honestly, I do the same thing. So someone like a Zach has to go, well, before I get into this too much and find out that I'm in too deep, making $45,000 to $50,000 a year, killing myself for warranty work, I might want to see if there's another job that I can get into and learn while I'm still young and make good money, like an electrician, a lineman, a millwright, a software developer, some kind of HVAC tech for data centers. That's where the money is. Robotaxi in Austin, it's coming. Do you need a driver license if you aren't actually driving? 10 or 80 jobs are far are fun until the back orders on the CDF. It's true. I brought my buddy over from Automotive Construction Equipment, and he didn't last longer than a year when he went back to the dealership. Vaughn Tristan. So understand this, and I'm not saying this to piss anyone off or anything. The automotive tech is the lowest tier of blue collar equipment technician there is. Full stop. The lowest tier. Because if you got to work on Caterpillar equipment, diesel generators, cranes, bulldozers, excavators, long haul equipment, do a brake job on a semi. Go ahead. What's this? It's a 15 pound sledgehammer. What for? Well, take out the drum, stupid. What? Yeah, you got to swing that bitch and hit it. And that whole assembly will come flying off. Where's my beautiful Snap-on tools that are pretty and charged up and organized beautifully? When I see a beautifully organized drawer, I know you don't work that hard. I don't care how OCD you are. When I see a drawer full of Snap-on tools be put there beautifully, they're all polished up, you ain't busy enough. You're not busy enough. I don't think I ever saw a tool crib at a very busy plant or maintenance facility to have perfectly lined up tools. Hell no. Dan Edgar's, Mohammed's, and Vladimir's taking the 34-hour reset in a fuel island. iRobot is definitely the future, says Ocumbet1. I bought a Model 3 Performance earlier this year, and I love it. Full self-drive drives me to work every day, faster than most cars on the road. I think protecting certain jobs is fine in the industry. Is simply trying to skirt safety precautions for the sake of profit. I guarantee. Yes, what I'm saying is certain jobs are going to stay alive because of political policy, not necessity. I'd rather be tired than broke. I live in Cali and managed to get a $350,000 house. How the fuck do you do that in Cali? One son, another kid coming this month. There's no excuse. Honestly, you got to hustle, do side jobs on free time. You get what you want to provide. Right. 40 hours is not a thing. 40 hours is not a thing. If you're like, well, I'm going to work 9 to 5, because when you watch old shows like Married with Children, you're like, wait a minute. Al Bundy raised a family of a Christina Applegate and the boy and a smoking hot redhead with big tits and a 3-2 house selling shoes? Yeah. It's not 1995 anymore, guys. I'm 24 and do not want to be 5 years down the road, barely switching industries. I've been in it 3 years and I'm done. I cut my losses and I switched to something better. Good for you. They better make a self-drive Escalator Suburban because that's what they're going to use for traveling and businesses. Grab that asset. Yeah. Yeah, we're doing a brake job. What tools do you need? 15-pound sledgehammer, acetylene torch, and a pack of Newports. Why? Oh, you'll see, motherfucker. I don't get it. What does a pack of Newports and a acetylene torch and a 15-pound sledgehammer have to do with anything? Those are the tools needed for a brake job on a semi. You'll see. I never watched Wall-E. I'm an adult. When the brakes weigh more than you. The best techs have multiple tool sets because they're missing various pieces from each. Them Snap-on guys be getting young techs, though. I'll send pictures later if you want to. We have 5-inch striking wrenches. Look, you have a 5-inch striking wrench. 5-inch. Guys, you know what a striking wrench is? It's a wrench with a blunt end you hit with a hammer. Okay? This is what a striking wrench is. This is man shit. Okay? There's no nice, cute handle. Nope. You hit that fucker with a hammer. That's right. What's the torque spec? 7 hits with the 5-pound sledge, 1 final one with the 10-pound, and a 3-foot-long handle. What? Yeah. Welcome to being a millwright. So you guys think you're blue collar because you're rebuilding 10R80s and taking cabs off of trucks? Bro, you wouldn't last 5 minutes doing hydraulic work. No way. I remember when I had to work on my first D8 cat dozer. And I'll talk about all the people bitching because they ain't getting any SNAP benefits. Brother, I get worked up because, again, I never worked at the highest level of mill writing, meaning like super badass shit. But I've taken gas turbines apart at power plants. I've rebuilt boiler feed pumps that are 8-stage, 3,500 RPM, stainless head, stainless shaft, carbon seals, technical shit, steam powered pumps. The pump was steam powered. So, I know a little bit about blue collar work. So when a tech tells me, oh, blue collar, you ain't blue collar, because those millwrights and those diesel techs and those Caterpillar techs and those equipment big boy shit, they look at you and they laugh. They say, boy, shut up. Percussive persuasion. If you're not contracted for 55 hours a week, you're not getting paid. As a wrench bigger than Edgar's, joining the military, doing my 20 years and getting my degree, going into the defense contractor industry was the move for me. I work in logistics and I'm still able to help the military. I'm telling you guys, you're Gen Z. If you're Gen Z, sign up. If you're lost and you're out there just fucking bitches and going to the club and doing dumb shit, join the military. Join the military. You will be better off. You'll be 28 to 30 when you're out of there. You'll hopefully have a skill set, some shitty tattoos, couple of bumps on your dick, and that means you've done well for yourself. My friend is an AC tech. Sometimes we go fishing. The minute we get there, he gets calls from people and he's gone. An hour, so he's home with $300 in his regular job. Also, ACA Heat and Tech, he is making money. If you're in Florida, HVAC technicians get paid. And a lot of you guys make fun of me for not owning a home. Remember the other day, I went live on Patreon, for those of you that are Patreon, and you saw that my thermostat was 75 degrees. I didn't really notice it because I'm like, it feels okay in here. Oh shit, it is 75 and it's set to 70. I'm like, I emailed the office. Hi, my AC seems to not be working. So I'm sitting here and right out there is my compressor. I see it right there, right outside. 7:35 a.m. the next day. Some guy's like, knocks on the door, comes in, puts a new filter, all set. Ice cold AC the next day. Cost me nothing. Cummins Tech, could you imagine? I started doing brake jobs and semis at 10. Back was wrecked by 18. Thanks, Pops. People don't think it happened because you didn't upload it to YouTube. Right. People think that I don't speak from a place of authority because I lived a whole life before I did YouTube shit. I've owned 2 houses. I know what it is to maintain a home. One was an 1890 built home. The other one was built in 2001. I know what it is. I know it is not attractive to me. I don't even want to wrench on cars. I want to make videos because this pays me a lot of money. And that is the future. I use Windows Script for it. I do all my own stuff, Joe. I just try to understand which models to stay away from. If you're in the South in general, HVAC is a hot commodity. Gotcha, Mercury. Nothing like a train. Glassroof Coyote says 24 and been in CNC for 5 years, 4 years at a beginning. For 5 years, 4 years at a bearing factory. Now 2, 3, 5, 6 axis doing VTC vanes and bodies for Ford, Nissan, Honda, etc. Building up my side hustle to become my main career. Look at that. 24 years old, has multiple machine certifications, doing really technical work. What's your excuse, Gen Z? What's your excuse? If this guy, Glassroof Coyote, can get off his ass, get some certifications, bust his butt, by the age of 34, he's going to have 2 kids and a house with a bitch. All the Carreras, Mercury, okay, good. 2 trucks, give me $10. And he said, I am 40. And some of the best memories is going to work with my dad. He retired as a heavy equipment mechanic supervisor. He was able to have 3 kids, a house, and my mom was a stay at home. So I think the whole technician shortage, people are, I think, glossing over the fact that, do you really want to join a career where you're going to be doing mostly warranty work? Let's be honest. It's not cool. It's not cool. It's warranty work. So why do you need to be highly skilled to do warranty work? Why does Ford have to pay you more money to do warranty work? Again, I'm saying the people that want to get into that market. If you're 40 and you've paid your dues, vaya con Dios, good for you, brother. You're in a good position. And I understand if you don't want to start from zero again. But the new generation, to get into it, they're like, wait a minute, I could work at Chick-fil-A for 15 to 18 bucks an hour, stuffing, chicken sandwiches and cookies and really good lemonade on a tray and giving it to someone, or I'm gonna wrench on a 10R80 for 10 hours a day, replace 10R80s 10 hours a day for the same money. Dealerships are not obligated to pay you anything than what they're offering. So it's just a market that some people shouldn't enter. Now, mom and pop shops, they have to now do this. Mom and pop shops are going to be in the same position, meaning small garages that are not dealerships. They have to buy the subscription. They have to get the new software. They have to get the new diagnostic software. They have to be able to afford all that stuff. And then they have to be able to afford to pay the technician. So what are they going to pay the technician if they have to pony up thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars a year just to have the equipment, the diagnostic equipment up to date so that they can service vehicles that are newer from 2015 and up? And different manufacturers, Stellantis, Chevy, Ford, Nissan. I'm sure they all use different software that's specific to their platforms. All of those have subscription-based models. All of those cost money. So what do you think you're going to be at a mom and pop shop? Now, hot rodding is a completely different thing because that's leisure. That's different. But even opening a shop to do, okay, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Shops are not needed to build an 8-second Mustang nowadays. I don't know about Camaros. If you have a 2011 to 2025 Mustang, you yourself, with minimal knowledge, can buy the parts, install them in your garage, and build an 8-second Mustang. Why would you take it to a shop? Because you don't know how to wrench? Okay, but what about the ones that do and are willing to? Look at what I had to do to stop getting fucked over by shops. I had to buy damn near $20,000 to $30,000 worth of equipment just to do basic stuff. I damn near started welding just so that I wouldn't have to. I replaced tires on the ground myself. Okay, I don't want to deal with a shop because at the end of the day, I don't need to. So the modern vehicle being so easy to modify is making the shops not needed, right? So shops need to work off of volume. So if you're a shop, you need to ka-chunk Whipple kits, ka-chunk Magnuson kits, ka-chunk fuel systems. Custom stuff is not going to pay you what you think it is. How many of you are in the middle of building something Billy Badass and custom, and then the guy either drags his feet or works on jobs that pay more, and your shit sits in the corner for a year? And you're like, hey, how come you're not working on my shit? Well, I mean, you didn't give me a timeline. I work on it when I can. And to be honest with you, I got 15 jobs in front of you that pay me now, as opposed to the custom one-off turbo shit you want. And if you want to be put in front of the line, you better have a lot of fucking money. You better have hundreds of thousands of dollars or a YouTube channel of millions of subscribers to get put in front of the line to get something built within a reasonable amount of time. It's just how it is. It's just how it is. Majority of techs are lazy. 90% of warranty, 23-year-old and almost made... Wait, I do 90% warranty work. I am 23 years old. Almost made $200,000 this year. Got to learn to write the stories and collect AD, AP, etc. Shout out to you, Kenny's HQ. 23 years old, 90% warranty work, and he calls out his own generation for being lazy. Love that shit. Love to hear, because when I do it, I'm a boomer. I'm a Gen X. Okay. I'm a boomer if I call out younger guys for being lazy. And I'm like, no, I've seen it. One Slow says 24 years well, and now a lead technician at my shop with no ASE certification, and I surpassed an older master technician with all of his ASEs. Working on getting my own ASEs to go into hybrid and electric. You know, say what you will about this chat. There's go-getters on this chat. There's doers on this chat. And if you're listening on this chat and you're not a go-getter or a doer, what's stopping you from making $150,000 to $200,000 at under 30 years old? You have no excuse. You have the energy. You have the energy. You are at an age where you can go out, drink all night, get 1 hour of sleep, and be able to wake up, have a Red Bull and a cupcake. Oh, and a Hostess chocolate cupcake, and be ready to go to work. If I went to sleep and I only had, if I partied all night, which I don't, and I went to sleep, I wouldn't wake up for a day and a half. A day and a half. And I'd be like, where the fuck am I? And Tony would be like, where's my food? It's a problem. I'm 28, just bought a home and about to get married, making $80,000 a year, selling parts, but on the side, I do mechanical work and side-by-sides for extra money. Can't complain. Got my toys, hot fiance, hot meal every day. Getting the torta to get some work in, bro. Good for you, papa. I moved to Boise. A tech company offered me a job there. I declined, though. I almost moved to Boise, Idaho. Do you know why there were only 49 contestants in the Miss Black America pageant? Does anyone know why there were only 49 contestants in the Miss Black America pageant? Because nobody wanted to be Idaho. I agree. Cold and snow is hard pass for me, Jay. Boise's all right. The guy that started the Calvo said he don't start a performance shop if you're trying to get rich. Its risk reward is not there. I feel better on less sleep than more, to be honest. But it's right. I grew up with my pop doing cement work since 10. A lot of my Gen Z, got it. I thought about Florida, Texas, but family's important to me. The older you get, the less important they are. And again, in the summer, this area is the best. Yeah, but what about the other 8 months? Because there are any in Idaho? No, because nobody wanted to be Idaho. Idaho. Next time you go hang out with your friends, say, hey guys, why were there only 49 contestants in the Miss Black America pageant? And they're like, I don't know why. And like, because nobody wanted to be Idaho. It was good. It's a good joke. Ain't no black man in Idaho. No. Idaho. Forget it. Make money the old-fashioned way. Inherit it. Nice. Jesus Christ, I'm jealous of you guys. $80K and you guys can afford homes and a family. So can you. What do you mean? What's $80,000 a year? $1,200 a week? 80,000 divided by 52. Wow, Alex. Holy shit. Divided by 52. $1,500 a week. Shit. You can't. $1,500 a week? You can't live on that? Maybe not in California, but like maybe in Idaho. Oh, you're in Canada. Oh, forget it. Fuck all of that. I don't have friends. Me neither. I have Donnie and Jake. And they don't necessarily love each other. So I kind of have like one and one. P.S. I'm a lead electrician and got my EV certification. I can't get text my age to work more than 40 hours. A lot of them reading comprehension skills. I'm intolerable. Same here, bro. I'm the worst. I work for the world's third biggest transit. Was a diesel tech and they offered me a job in the corporation to help our techs, train and guide them. The skill today isn't there for the most part. Idaho. You will never go or do anything if you let family and friends hold you back. Exactly. Mercury, family's important to me. Okay, well, would you give up $50,000 a year to stay close to family? Are you gay? No, I got your joke. I laughed. If you can't afford a home at $80,000, move. That's the problem. Right, $1,538 a week. It's big money. Well, get the fuck out of Canada. Bullshit. Man, where in Canada? Ain't no way. Now, Alfredo, that's not a thing anymore, but 20 years ago, they were having rallies. Budget is a virtue. Young grasshoppers, exactly. I afforded a home at $50,000 in Massachusetts. My house was $135,000 in 2000. It was a piece of shit, but it was $850 all in. Mortgage, escrow, PMI, all this bullshit. It was like $800, $840. But heating was $400 a month. because it was oil heat. One slow notch says, I'm 45 years old and I am working on Black Hawk, Apache, and Chinook helicopters as government contractor in Texas. Laughing all the way to the bank. Got 2 kids, my toys. Go get that money. So imagine you go to the army right now, right? You're Gen Z. You got nothing going on. You're like, oh, should I go to the gym with my Kanye, with my yays and, day trade? Or do you join the military, bitch, get bumps on your dick in Japan, and then 8 years later, start working on helicopters, MRAPs, and heavy equipment and make money from the ages of 30 until you die? I make $80,000 a year with a stay-at-home wife, 2 kids, and purchased a home in California, says El Verga Larga. Most people don't make over 60 a year. Let's be real. I can't believe people didn't get Idaho. A lot of people didn't get it. They're like, oh, there's no black women in Idaho? I'm like, nobody wanted to be Idaho. I am the hoe, so they didn't want. JD must be balling. He owns 2 gas stations. He works really hard. And JD eats his rice with a fork. Right, JD? JD, please tell me you grab a fork when you eat rice. Please don't tell me you take biryani and you go like this. JD, do you take biryani and go like this? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Why not? Why not? Oh, fuck. When they showed Mamdani, like, people go, what the fuck? Well, you eat French fries with your hands, don't you? They're handheld. You eat pizza with your hand, don't you? You eat burgers with your hands. They're handheld. They're made to eat with your hands. Rice is not. I don't get it, he says. He says, I don't get it. Don't wait for the translation. Go get that money. Go chase that money. Go into the trades. Renting on cars is fun, but I only work on my own cars. Career is being an electrician in a steel mill, making $120 a year, and I only work 14 days a month, and I'm 25 years old. But I use a spoon, he says. It's because he's a hard worker. I'm 22 in the military, about to get out, and I have my private pilot's license. I got my private pilot's license in a Tic Tac box. They give them shits away to anybody. Didn't JD do that sidewalk? Just kidding, brother. Sidewalk ice cream. JD also eats street ice cream, YDBT vids, and racist memes. That's people from South and East India. So, isn't there a poop throwing festival over there? Yeah. Poop throwing festival. Australian senator says we just discovered Indian poop throwing festival. Gauri Haba. The Indian village is a Hindu. Gauri Haba is a Hindu festival celebrated in the village of Gumatapura, Karnataka. Wow. The festival is celebrated a day after Diwali, Bali's Padyami, whereby the festival involves participants playfully throwing or smearing cow shit on one another as part of local tradition. It is also celebrated by Kannada people in the similarly named Gumtampuram village in Talavadi Taluk of Erode district. It sounds like Wharf and Klingon languages. What? You're telling me there is a poop throwing festival in India? Well, I guess I'm going to YouTube. And I'm just going to type in poop throwing festival in India. Poop throwing festival. Guess we're doing it, guys. We're going to see what. Oh, my effing Lord. Stop this. No. Close your mouth. What is wrong with you? What is wrong with people? He opens his mouth. Oh, my God. He opens his mouth. Stop opening your mouth.
So much shit.
Oh,
poop throwing festival in India, where the villagers spend 6 months collecting cow poop and celebrate the end of Diwali by throwing it at each other and rubbing it on their skin.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It's the end of times. I think this is one of the first signs. The next one is the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. It's coming. There's going to be just the 4 horsemen are like, fuck this. This is it. You guys are cooked. Reset time. Reset time. JD Swag goes, I have seriously never heard of this. So when you see a guy go to an Indian restaurant and he's like, oh, they eat the poop. It's an antioxidant properties. Oh my God. Oh God, it's old poop. They probably smell better after the festival. My eyes. Why do they drink cow piss? They wash their hands with cow piss. You dirty bro. Absolutely grouty. More sanitary than their food. You see, they also step on it claiming it grants them antimicrobial power. Apocalypse. Cows are holy, Alex. But holy shit. Literally. Let me just. Hold your fucking. You know what pisses me off the most is when people react on YouTube by going. Nobody reacts that way. In real life, nobody goes, oh! Nobody does that. Nobody. And the people that react that way, something's fucking wrong with you, okay? If you go, oh! Big mouth. No. Like when I saw World Cup, that car go 5'11" in the quarter, I went, that's badass. I didn't go, stupid. People opening their fucking mouth. It's the end of times. End of times. We need another disease.
Participant from America. I refuse to let the poop win.
I gotta try again.
Wait. Why'd you go back? What are they gonna do to the donkey? Oh, poor donkey. What are they gonna do to this donkey? JD, tell me they don't fuck the donkey. Tell me they don't all fuck the donkey at the same time.
Donkey man's going through hell.
And
Hell.
finally,
It's gonna get rammed.
the gladiators entered the poop coliseum.
Where are you from?
USA, Texas.
Oh, then you're used to this. This is like Galveston Beach. Where are you from? Texas. Oh, this is no different than Galveston.
Gladiators
Seawall.
entered the poop coliseum.
Where are you
USA, Texas.
You should be used to this.
Take them off. Okay.
Okay, the other thing, JD, can you like dispel a myth for me, JD? Okay, an Indian did this to me the other day, and I guess it meant yes. I said, what did I say? Oh, guy here, Indian guy, his tire was flat, right? And I said, do you need air on the tire? And he goes, and I think that means yes. Okay. I went, I'm just going to fill it up. And I'm not going to ask him why he's bobbling his head around. They drink shit tea. Bro reacted to poop like Derek Barron thumbnail. Cows are holy, Alex. Stop picking on Andrew. Those Indian joints don't have any toilet paper in the bathroom. I hate those clickbait thumbnails. Alex is going to start making clickbait soon. People are dumb. Where's the meteor? How do I get my 6R80 with any? Read the room. Read the room. Hey, Alex, you want a technical? We're talking about cow shit. He's for real licking his lips. Speaking about opening mouths, you should have seen the Cletus fans at World Cup. I never understood how a grown man could love another man like that. They're mentally ill. An Indian did this to me one time, right? Yes, some people do that. Oh, wait. I'll just put air on his tire. I'm not going to do it. Yes. This fucking guy put a hazmat but doesn't cover his mouth. Why are you opening your mouth reacting that way? I wish a big cow turd would have ended up landing in his mouth the moment he opened his mouth like that. Let me see if one does. I'm going to see.
Oh my God! I'm covered in shit! Oh my God!
Put it in his mouth.
Festival. The smell in here is inexplicable. No!
Dude, they almost put poop. That guy should have just shoved poop in his mouth. Look at this. Look at this. This is so fucking retarded. I'm covered in shit. Yeah. And
Ah! Oh my God! India's Poop During Festival. The smell in here is inexplicable.
does this look? This should be my thumbnail for the show. Save. That'll be the thumbnail. Bro, what the fuck is happening? It's over. So anyway, let's wrap this up a little bit. So today we talked about what I think it is a transitioning transportation issue. I don't think you need a high-skilled tech to do warranty work specifically on newer vehicles, and that's why I think they're not paying that much. Just like with millwright, just like with wheelwrights, just like with farriers, just like with horse-drawn, just like with breeders, just like with carburetor guys that were doing tune-ups. Tune-ups, brakes, and oil changes were the bulk of what these guys did back in the day. 70s, 80s, 90s. Brakes, tune-up, oil changes, brake. And if you knew how to do drum brakes, like you really knew what the fuck you were doing, you were thought as a wizard. Wait, you know how to fuck with those springs in the back? Yeah, I got that. I got the tool, that twisty thing and everything. So now people are needing diagnostic tools. People are needing more like a white collar way of interfacing with these vehicles because they're too smart. And the manufacturers are going to just basically fill it up with tech, right? So if you're a technician for a modern vehicle, you have to know a lot about sync system, cloud-based storage, cloud-based syncing, and a lot of the infotainment in the car. All of the doodads and all of the stuff that's happening in the car that has to do with infotainment tech, GPS, sync, uploading, downloading, wireless radio, satellite radio, all this stuff. How is that anything to do with cars? And how is that? And you can actually make the case that you're basically software interfacing than hardware interfacing with these modern vehicles that are mostly software based. So most of it isn't even cables and stuff. It's all drive-by-wire and brake-by-wire. So you're basically module diagnosing, module replacing, and interfacing with cloud-based stuff and the infotainment stuff. So I think the modern technician is a completely different technician than they hired in the 90s and 2000s. It's more about like an IT guy than anything. What do you say? Yeah, he keeps repeating the same thing. I'm just going to ignore it. Maybe he didn't understand that's a nod for whatever you said. He is fine. I'm covered in shit. JD, are you so goddamn it? I went to piss and came back still on the poop festival. Of course. It's funny. Talking shit for tonight. Exactly. Thanks for another great one. Happy Veterans Day to the Emery who served. That's right. He reached my limit. Exactly. The techs where I'm at legit don't know how to use a multimeter. I had to learn. I was diagnosing a problem and I'm like, I don't know this. I don't know even where to click. I learned. I Googled it and I'm like, oh, okay. So I need to see this amps, this voltage, this resistance. Okay. And then why would I need to? Okay. And I Googled everything, went out there, diagnosed an electrical issue a couple of times. And now I'm like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing. But unless I do it often and repetitive, at the end of the day, I just don't use it enough to like need it. But if I need to figure something out, I have all of the world's information at the palm of my hands. So why would I'm blown away to this day that people in the ticket system say, I have a PO442. What does that mean? I'm like, really? Really? We're there? Unbelievable. So new daily prospect, Jaywalker. Damn, big, fancy Jaywalker. Good shit, though. What's happening? I'm trying to eat my lunch. And you remember when Lifestyle spray 100 shot? I agree. That's why I never went to Toronto and don't want to go there. I sold my 992 Ford GT S Targa back to the dealer, awaiting 992 Turbo S to come in. Good for you. How to use a meter and owning a power probe is wizard shit to these young kids. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. So I think to sum it all up, if you're a Gen Z, you like cars, you like fucking around, I don't think you should go into the automotive maintenance game in terms of dealerships. Like, I don't think you should become a technician for a Ford. I honestly think at your age, and if you're not looking to go to college, you should enlist. They're paying you good money now. This president is a peacetime president. Maybe he'll have you go on a boat and maybe pick up a couple of heads in the ocean, and maybe you'll come across some ping ping because he's blowing it up. And some of that ping ping makes its way back to the barracks. So I think it's going to be a pretty decent 4 years, and I don't think there's going to be an all-out war because this president is more of a peacetime president. But you'll be doing some cool shit, blowing up some boats in the Caribbean, and then maybe you could pick up a big booty Latina on the way, and do the thing before they get shit back home. All right, I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on Thursday. We'll talk some more shit on Thursday. We'll hang out then. We're going to keep voting for the people on Patreon for the giveaway of the blower. So if you're on Patreon, make sure to vote for your favorite one of the 5 people that applied to become recipients of the blower. Check them out. Check that out. And check out the channel for clips and other bullshit. And then we'll be back on Thursday talking a little more.